Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today I want to talk about this 7800 XT. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. So yesterday was Black Friday. I actually went to Best Buy, guys, to buy a 4070 Ti to compare on the channel with my 7900 XT. But once I got it and I was sitting there and like we were ringing it up and it was almost $950 for a 4070 Ti. I was like, you know what, man? I really don't want to spend $950 on this AIB because it was the only freaking card I could get. It was like a gigabyte or something. And it was the only card they had in stock. And I felt like, no, man, I'm not going to get ripped off by Nvidia again. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy a 7800 XT. They're $509 for the XFX Speedster. I really like the quality of the card I already have. Let's go ahead and put some 7800 XT content out on the channel because it's such a good bang for your buck. And after spending all night last night, you know, up till like wee hours in the morning, getting up, playing around with this again all day today, I am absolutely convinced that AMD is well worth your money this generation for sure. I can't speak for, you know, previous generations. I can't speak for what's coming next generation, but I know that if you want a 1440p card that has actual next gen features, as in like HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort cable 2.1, being able to utilize this with AV1 encoding and all of the other bells and whistles that comes with AMD card, plus being able to jump in and use the AMD's fluid motion frames beta. Yeah, why would you even consider buying an Nvidia card over one of these cards this generation? That to me does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. Nvidia thinks that they're like too big to fail, and they're out there way overpricing these cards. Let me get this straight. The closest card priced to the cost of this 7800 XT in the Nvidia stack is actually the 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte for $519. For $519, you can get yourself a 4060 Ti with 16 gigs of VRAM. Oh my gosh. That is absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious that you can get way more bang for your buck for a 7800 XT that I've actually been playing with now, and I've actually seen that this thing at 1440p either meets or sometimes exceeds my 7900 XT because it's not being bottlenecked at 1440p, and being able to pretty much deliver almost a consistent experience to what I'm getting with my 7900 XT. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible for $500 for this 7800 XT, and it is almost at a point where it can touch my 7900 XT at 1440p. Now 4K definitely a lot different when I put other games on, you know, like Alan Wake 2 or some of these other heavy hitting games. Yes, the 7900 XT really does provide a far better experience, but still being able to get a playable experience and even being able to use the path tracing on like Cyberpunk and Alan Wake with this card and still having at least a 30 frames per second playable experience. Oh, that's just mind-blowing to me. That's just mind-blowing to me that anybody would choose to pay significantly more money for an AMD card. That just blows me away. Even the 4070, just the regular 4070 is more than this card right here. More than this card. You get 16 gigs of VRAM with this 7800 XT. You get all those next gen features that I'm telling you about. You get instant access into the AMD preview for AMD's fluid motion frames, which has been updated a few times now. Very stable so far on the 7800 XT. Actually very impressive. I just got done. I'm uploading a video for Cyberpunk right now. I'm uploading a video for Remnant 2 right now. Both of these using the AMD's fluid motion frames. I'm going through those. That's kind of the content I'm making today for this card. I'm absolutely blown a freaking way with this card. Absolutely. I cannot believe how much of a value AMD has put out there with the 7800 XT. I 100% stand by this card. Very cool. Getting in here, editing, doing all of that stuff, pretty much on par, maybe a little bit less than what I'm getting with the the 7900 XT. Very, very cool. I've got some what is it, 3D Mark or something. I'm going to be doing some benchmarks on that and seeing how that pans out. So there's just a lot, man. I'm very impressed with this overall card. Like, this thing is an absolute monster in the way it performs at 1440p. Like, Spider-Man, 100%. Like, that game just felt great. Even at native resolution, I'm still not even dropping below like 60 frames a second with full ray tracing at like the 10 with the object distance at 10. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is the first time Spider-Man has been a stable experience the whole time I've been playing it on PC. I mean, the 7900 XT does really good at 4K. I get about the same performance 1440p versus what I get with the 7900 XT at 4K, because it's a lot more stable with that card at 4K than it is with at 1440p. But the overall stability of the 7800 XT with some of these games at 1440p, absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I cannot believe, and I cannot tell you just how much, like you'll have so much peace of mind, honestly, if you bought a 7800 XT over Nvidia, over any of the cards in Nvidia's price range, especially if you go, I don't know how to, let me stress this as much as I can. If you're building a new PC and you are going, and your budget for your GPU is $500, do not buy a 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte. Do not do that. You will be significantly more happy later down the road with a 7800 XT than you will ever be with that 4060 Ti. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it. If you want to stay in the mid-range GPU, you want to stay in the $500 price range, and you want to be able to build a solid PC by yourself for like $1,200 with enough punch and bang, yeah, I highly recommend the 7800 XT. The power levels are a lot better on this card. My hotspot, my GPU hotspot is a lot nicer. It's not running as hot. Very, very, very quiet. Even at full load, this card is extremely quiet, just like the 7900 XT. This thing is incredible. This card is 100% more bang for your buck than you could have ever imagined. At a top end 1440p card that can run some of these games at 4K. Like, I've tested a few of them. My racing games are all running at 4K. Forza Motorsport's running incredibly well on this card. So much value out of this card, this GPU, this generation. I can almost guarantee that when AMD put this out, they were going to charge you like $650 for this card. I can guarantee that, because it just doesn't make any sense. The power ratio for the 7800 XT compared to my 7900 XT, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Like, at 1440p, it's like neck and neck easily. It's neck and neck at 1440p. When you get into 4K is when the 7900 XT really starts to take more of a lead on top of this 7800 XT. Like, it's that close in performance wise that, yeah, they could have easily sold this card for $650 and put it in an interesting place to where it wouldn't, where it would make more sense to maybe consider an AM or an Nvidia card over this card. But where they price this card and the segment power performance ratio for this card, it does not make any sense to buy any Nvidia card over the 7800 XT. For $500, this card's going to get you 4 years easily of being able to 100% use this card before you even have to consider upgrading. And by that time, maybe if you are an Nvidia fan and Nvidia is your thing, by that time you'll be able to get a 4070 or a 40 class card at a reasonable price used. Like, you'll be able to do that. I'm already seeing 3090s for like $650. So yeah, you will be able to 100% get to where you want to be. But I honestly do think that if you switched over to AMD and you started utilizing AMD at a 7800 XT price point and range, you're going to be satisfied. it might take you a few days or a few weeks to get over the DLSS and all of the ray tracing stuff. But once you get over that and you really start to see what kind of a bang for buck you're getting from the AMD platform, I have no doubt in my mind that you'll be just like me, and it will not make sense to spend those ridiculous amounts of money for an Nvidia product ever again. Like you'll see that, and I'm telling you, buying this card actually makes me a little more bitter towards Nvidia. Like, it really does. To be able to fully enjoy playing video games on the AMD card, it's an incredible feeling. It's an incredible feeling. I've never felt this good with any of the Nvidia cards I bought. I always felt like, man, I thought this was going to be better. I thought this would be a little bit better. And maybe that is. Maybe I came into AMD with low expectations. We may never know, but to tell you the truth, I've never just 100% been sold on ray tracing as like the next best thing for gaming. Like I've never really been sold on that, because I mean, as a console gamer, for as long as I was, we were going from 30 frames a second to 60. That was like the big jump for us, going to 60 frames a second, getting 4K with better visuals. That was like the big jump for us console gamers. So like ray tracing, like, yeah, it's cool to have, but at the expense of, you know, what we wanted with it, it just didn't make sense. And I'm glad that PlayStation is actually being able to put ray tracing into their games and still get you a 60 FPS experience and still being able to bring that and make that more mainstream. I think that is more important for ray tracing's future than anything Nvidia can do. But now, I mean, they started with the ray tracing, now they're bumping over to the path tracing. And the only reason they're doing that is because all of these AMD cards, the 7800 XT, 7900 XT, 100% are getting, you know, 3080 to 3090 performance on ray tracing games. So now they had to, like, oh my gosh, in a panic, had to hurry up and switch it over to to path tracing so that they could still use their DLSS to make their cards perform a little bit better with that. But man, AMD's next generation or the generation after that is 100% going to be able to do this stuff, and you'll still be able to save money. So I recommend AMD over Nvidia this generation, hands down. The 7800 XT, the 7900 XT, 7900 XTX, even possibly the 7700 XT as like a super high-end 1080p, 1440p card. I think that you could do very well with that. If you stick in that range with that card, I think that you would be doing very, very well for yourself. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, if you switch to AMD right now, you get a free copy of Avatar when it launches next month on December 7th. That is cool. So yes, I think I'm an AMD fanboy. I mean, I think it's safe to say that like AMD has 100% impressed me, and I feel comfortable using AMD, and I actually like the AMD experience significantly more than what Nvidia is going on. For me to even consider buying another Nvidia card, they would have to totally revamp their user experience to make it more in line with how the Adrenaline software is. For me to even consider spending any more money on there, with the 7900 XT, I'm probably going to build out an AM5 platform for that card, and utilize the AM4 for the 7800 to kind of see, you know, how those are working out. But that's going to be sometime well into next year. Don't worry, I will keep making 7900 XT content, but at right now, like, I'm going to be really pumping out as much content for 7800 XT as I possibly can over the coming months to see exactly where this card sits and to see how this card's going to pan out over the long term. So stay tuned, get ready for all that content. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you want more of that. And if you absolutely want to help support this channel, you can hit up the Patreon, you can join the membership, or you could just super chat when we go live. So sorry, man, I'm not trying to beg for money, but it would be nice to actually make some more money on this channel. So we'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.